Hello and welcome back to another Warhammer 3 video here today. We have big news. Patch 6.3 dev blog has been released. The rest of it will be coming Friday, but in this chunk, there's a lot to talk about. The Tomb Kings and Lizardmen are getting some changes. There's going to be new audio updates, new unusual locations, new free units, and some streamlining in the FLC. As a lot of you know, you have to do the whole account setup and kind of link the Steam and CA together. But a lot of players just don't even know that, or just don't even really care. So they're missing out on a lot of fun free stuff. So that's gonna be changing. But yeah, I will be reading most of this, just so for those who don't want to read it and actually want to know what it says, and not just me my version of skimming over it. But yeah, we're gonna get into it. Very excited. Hey folks, we're expecting to publish the full release notes on patch 6.3 this Friday, just like I said before. Follow the update itself next week, but if you can't wait this long to join us tomorrow on Rally Point, where we've been playing and discussing patch 6.3 live on a stream. Fun fact, they've been doing that every week. I don't know if it's on the same day every week, but they usually let us know a day before. In 6.3, look at forward updates to improvements to Tomb Kings, Lizardmen races, audio updates including the death and rebirth of Albric Legionaric, kind of funny, new unusual locations, new free units, some streamline and how to claim FLC for Warhammer 3, as well as a little extra blood spatter for everyone that likes to stick their nose right into the thick of it during battle. Kind of very exciting. This is a little, I would say, a little bit more than our normal updates, you know, especially for just a 6.3, not a big O. But yeah, we're gonna continue. This week we have a senior QA live technician, Liam Newman, covering the changes and improvements coming to the Tomb Kings and Lizardmen. Principal designer Mitch with sports and the weather on unusual locations, and more with Sam, John, Chris for an update for the audio department, and game director, again I butcher this, I apologize, Todor Nikolov, I said that right, don't correct me, with a quick breakdown of Warhammer 3 FLC, and now we've had to simplify how to get it. And with that, over to Liam. Howdy, I am Liam Newman, Senior Live QA Technician on Total War Warhammer 3. Typically, I can be found in our bug area, working on our bugs. Crazy, the bug guy handles the bugs. I have came out of my cave, talked through we've cooked for the Tomb Kings and Lizardmen and patch 6.3 as part of what we call Warhammer 3ifying. Fun fact, you're going to be seeing this a lot in the dev notes. This is like their new favorite word. You're probably going to see it on the Reddit pretty soon. Everyone's just going to say Warhammer 3.5. But yeah, we're going to continue this so we can get this chunk out. As we've mentioned before in our stream, these updates are not full reworks, but they do come directly from ongoing feedback we've received from you, either through our community hub or our legacy forums, Reddit, and the general chatter we've seen out there online. So thank you for it, and hope you enjoy the updates in this patch. We've worked to capture your ideas and find your solutions to your pain points in the changes below, as well as other updates that you can discover by jumping into the patch full release next week. Very exciting. So I would assume 5 to 7 days from now. Typically, you're fine continuing with the existing campaign when we update the patch, but for this patch we recommend a fresh campaign due to the amount of changes we made across the board and the trait rebalance alongside the Tomb Kings and Lizardmen changes. That's enough with a hello from me. Below are some words, but I have heading pictures. My bad. With headings, pictures, and more details on changes in 6.3. Super excited. We all love to make new campaigns, and I was kind of sad when the beta for the sieges were gone, because it just felt like I was just missing stuff, you know. I felt like it was a good change. I know it's not perfect, but it feels like duct tape covering a hole in a ship, you know. It's not gonna fix the boat, but it's gonna help. So yeah, very exciting. And next week, so yeah, stay tuned for that. We're definitely be covering that when that comes out. Now we're going to move on to my favorite part of these, the stuff they're actually going to give us. So number 1, Tomb Kings. Tomb Kings are one of my favorite races in Warhammer Fantasy. I agree with you there, buddy. And in Total Warhammer 2, have played them a while ago in Warhammer 3. A little bit of the sparkle had gone. The aim of these changes is to bring a little bit of freshness back to the race in the world of Total Warhammer 3. Man, I say Warhammer 3 a lot in this video. For this update, we've done something here for everyone, no matter your playstyle or goals. The team have enjoyed playing the update experience. Back here, so we hope you do too. As always, let us know your feedback you have. Sometimes I feel like I just don't know my own language. Areas we've focused on tweaking and improving. Simply put, pace, long distance between the books of Nagash locations are far slower earlier mid-game than any other races. Hardly something worth the majesty of the Tomb Kings deserve. So I agree with that. Usually, to be honest, when I play Tomb Kings, I just ignore the books. They don't really do that much. I know they got some cool like stuff, but to me, I'm just like, I'm more focused on the campaign overall. That's just like a little side quest, you know. Kano, again, I'm gonna butcher this. Kano pick jars can feel like they tail off mid-campaign and feel like a resource that could be used more than solely increasing army capacity. Technology, yeah, that too. To be honest, I think we should do it like the dwarves and just give us a bit more stuff, like just how they did with like their like gold and all their little mechanics. Just add a little more flavor to them, and you don't have to make a whole brand new mechanic for them to feel good again, you know. Technology tree and landmarks feel like they lacked impact, so we've added a bit more meaningful bonuses to make each unlock feel powerful and give them a bit more oomph. Personally, sometimes I just want to get a few of the main players in the race and have a party. Can't do that with the Tomb Kings. Yet. I saw a lot of talk about this in the forums. I'm in the camp of like 50-50. It's either, like, I believe it could be a hint to DLC, but like at the same time, it could just be a hint to this right here, because it says yet 3 times. And if you play Cetra, you can recruit 3. And he already said the main players in the race and have a party can't do that. Tomb Kings yet. To me, I think it's a little, you know, I don't want it to be referencing this. As you guys know, I'd also like more DLC or even FLC. But yeah, stay tuned. Maybe this will be revealed to be something big, but we never know. Their plans are mysterious, guys. They tell us a bunch of info, and then they just leave us in the dark for a month. That's what they like to do. So yeah, we're going to continue going over this. Confederations. When playing Tomb Kings, you can now confederate other Tomb Kings faction as below. I didn't know this wasn't a thing. That just shows you how much little I have played them in a long time, because I legit thought that this was just, I thought, oh my god, they can do that, but I guess they couldn't. And I think this is cool because they have this right here. Who can they force into confederation by defeating in battle? That's pretty big to me, because diplomacy can take a while, and like by the time you get them, it's just like not really, it doesn't feel that worth it because you already have like 4 other armies. But that's big. But yeah, we're gonna go over this. So it's a little chart we got. So faction leader on the left, and on the right will be who they can recruit, of course. And right here, who can they confederate using a mortuary cult? If it wants to stop highlighting. So Arcan can get Khalida and Katept just by defeating battle, which is big. Imagine he had none. They're just like, yeah, he's a solo dolo guy. He can't use mortuary cult, but fun fact, he's the only one. Everybody else can. Khalida can just do Katept. Yeah, just Katept, which I thought was a little weird reading this. Same thing with Katept. It's only Khalida. I thought that was a little odd, but I think it's supposed to be like lore-wise. Again, I'm not a big lore nerd, but I know Cetra is the big main boss. He gets to tell me what to do. So he gets everything. He gets to be able to defeat them in battle. So Katept and Khalida, he can just fight them. But he can only confederate using the multi-part is Khalida. You would think he could also do that with Katept, but I guess they want him to fight Katept. And isn't Katept like on the other side of the world? They're like, yeah, you better go on a pilgrimage, buddy. So yeah, we're going to continue going over this. We believe this respects the lore. Yeah, like I said, it's probably lore associated. Nerds. I know, I'm just making fun of the devs now. Tomb Kings will add in enough of what is available to other races in the game. This means if you play as either Tomb King Lord or at least one other can be confederated either forcibly or by using the mortuary cult. So yeah, like I just said, you can either use the cult to get mainly Khalida, because half the roster is you get to do Khalida. And if you're Khalida himself, or herself, I mean, you get to get Katept. A little weird. I think they'll probably change this, in my opinion, maybe. Yeah, now we're on the again, I butcher everything, guys. I apologize. The jars. They're now gained from post-battle kills similar to the meat/slaves from the Ogre Kingdoms and Dark Elves. Pick your poison. You can spend them on... I'm not even going to try that. That thingy. Decrease to get quick cash injections, some research rate, or Garrison Sally. I don't know what that means. Again, maybe because I haven't played in a while, but I don't know what Garrison Sally. Maybe one of you guys in the comments can bestow me some Warhammer wisdom that I have forgotten in the years. Banners, we've added new banners to Mortuary Cult. I'm big on this. I love the whole item change. And talking about skills, I think yeah, it's right here. They're changing so much. It's basically redoing the groundwork for a lot of this, and it's really nice to see. But yeah, this is pretty good right here. Say, I don't want to pass before we bring this up. Getting this from post battles is big because it's a very, like they said earlier in this post, that it's more of just make more armies. Like that's really all you usually use them for. Now we're going to continue. Skills. You've also given all characters at least one skill. Tomb Bridges now have another path they can choose, Dynasty or Legendary Lords. Also, they have a skill, Never Die, which removes the wound attribute, something different for each character. I'm very excited. It says something different for each character, so I'm excited to see what kind of changes we get. I don't know what they could do, but I bet you it's probably like something new that they made up. And look right here, guys, technology tree, and hint, the Lizardmen also got a new technology tree. I know everyone's going to be foaming at the mouths for that one. Plenty of the changes have gone on here, ranging from decrease to the research penalty to dynasty technologies incur, as well as adding some unique effects alongside additional technologies that increase unit capacities. Some general rules the Tomb King's Some general rules that Tomb King's tech tree now has. The 6 dynasty techs Wisdom of the X dynasty have lower penalties to your research rate, and each now has an additional effect. Each dynasty has a small increase for unit capabilities, typically 2 for non-large units, 1 for relevant large units. Each hero capacity Each hero capacity also increases the recruit rank of the hero type. That was a mouthful. We've put in example technologies below as the first 3 chains. Yeah, I was confused earlier because I only saw this when I was skimming through, and I was like, where did the other 3 go? But there's probably just going to be like a bar at the bottom you can scroll. But the right here is they're talking about. So I think research rate was before like 100. So the next time it would take a lot. It would take like, I think it takes like 5 turns the first time before all this. And then it became like 10 and then 20 and whatnot. I think. Don't quote me on that. So like right here they're showing that it will actually give like a little more bonuses than just like collecting it. And then we also have the first dynasty, second dynasty, third dynasty. It looks very different. It's very cool because before you basically just had like ones on each side, because I think it's all on the right side now, which makes it a lot easier because like when you're progressing you don't have to go like back and forth so much, so that's kind of nice. And this down here I believe is changed as well. I wish I could read all this. I looked at this earlier and I was like, man, I wish they gave us like a little sneak peek, like show us everything. But as with a lot of things, they'd rather just have us kind of witness them firsthand, which is always cool. Okay, now we're on to the books in Nagash. This is something we're aware the community has wanted improvements and made for quite some time, both locations being annoyingly placed and the effects themselves being somewhat underwhelming, needed to look into. That's what I was saying, like I just treated it like a side quest because it was not that worth it. Like unless you got them all, then it was like like if you only had a couple. We've read a lot of the comments in which we all want them Nekahara, but that doesn't sound fun or challenge you to progress, move outwards, and continue from the early game to the end. We have moved some to the desert for some factions and added new locations for Kalita specifically as an example of changes made below. So this is before right here. This is the only time they say live game instead of pre 6.3. So before you had a bunch in like Elthwan, bunch in the south, bunch here. It kind of looks like instead of making you go north, because this is a trek if you're gonna start right here, they kind of just pushed them all in this area. And they kind of just, like the most northern one is here now instead of being all the way left. So that's going to be a lot nicer. You're going to be way more focused on just your own land. So yeah, again, good that they're fixing these and making them a bit more playable. Books and Nagash effects. Some of the effects were actually not bad, so they've only had minor increases in efforts and also additional effects applied. Each book provides an improvement to Dune Restoration, which can restore fallen construct units post-battle. Each book will improve the chance the effectiveness of this further. That sounds amazing. I'm hyped for that. Because now you just treat it like a demon army, and you can just have like 19 bone giants, and just be like, oh, did I lose half of them? Never mind, I got most of them back. I'm excited for that. I think their gameplay will definitely evolve with stuff like that. Pyramid effects. Sometimes they were not worth getting to and constructing, so we've changed units with some unique effects, such as the Great Pyramid of Sutra now giving expendable to Skeleton Warrior Spear units. The Pyramid of Alcatraz, again, I'm butchering this all, now gives physical resistance when fighting vampire counts. Meanwhile, the City of Bronze, you can now snipe the Ushu, again, Ushu Bati great bows. You know what I'm trying to say, chat. But yeah, I love the Tomb Kings updates. I'm very excited. You would think this would be like a rework, and if they give us more on Friday, I'm gonna start calling it a rework. Maybe I'm wrong, because they remember the green skins. I feel like they got less than this right here. But yeah, we're gonna continue. Now we're on to everybody's favorite, the Lizardmen. Who doesn't love them? Areas we focused on tweaking and improving. Number 1. The god-awful technology tree is gone. No more clutter in this technology tree. 2. The economy. I didn't think it was so bad, but it is a little stagnant. 3. Big dinosaurs needed some love. Hey, that's big. And skill trees needed sprucing up. I'm big on fixing skill trees because I have a lot of problems with them. Because all my characters get like level 50, and I feel like I'm just throwing points away. And I'd really like points to like matter a bit more than just me feeling like it's just a waste of my time when I have like 20 characters. So yeah, now we're moving on to technology tree. To cut the chase, we've improved it significantly, adding new effects, removing most building requirements, and improving consistency with units gain effects from certain areas, as well as some bits spiced dotted around, some screenshots below in the layout. This looks amazing, and look, they're just doing it for everybody. It's in two spots. So one I assume is like economic, building, and like passives, and the other one is probably unit based, a lot like the dwarves. So this looks amazing. I don't know if any of you are Lizardmen players yourselves, but if you go on it right now, maybe I'll pull it up on the screen. It looks god awful. It's just a bunch of lines, and you don't even get most of them done because it requires a lot of buildings. And you can only see now that down here it only requires buildings. That little red symbol, that's just a building. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful skill tree. Yeah, the campaign focuses on the new Lizardman tech tree. I think this is just zoomed in. Oh wait, no, this is this side, the cold-blooded. Yeah, the military side of the technology tree for Lizardmen. Dude, this looks so much nicer. Dude, this looks amazing. I really like the way this looks. It's very tidy, and look, like you can pick any of these on either side. I'm excited. I'm very excited. I'm definitely. It's gonna be like the coin flip between who I play next week when they come out. Yeah, Nakai's totem tree retaining the uniqueness. Oh yeah, this is Nakai's. I was curious why this looked different. You see, that just shows you I haven't played in forever. Yeah, now we're on to the economy. We saw your feedback on Lizardman's economy and also felt that it also really worked when you reached scale, which wasn't that fun, but it also could constrain you pretty hard in the early game. To address this, we tweaked resource building, so they've now also improved a low amount of treasury. So just think of corn. Just every building makes money now, but not to the extent of where that's all you can do for corn, because I have my own issues with how that is. But it'll basically just be like tacked on to what they already do. Buildings, there are a lot. I like how they emphasize this a lot. A number, nudging, increase, decreasing some numbers of a small amount. Plenty of values that didn't seem right in Warhammer 3. So building costs, construction times, and outputs have changed across the board. In addition to that, we've added another tier to the Dread Saurian chain. Having a cap 1 per province always felt a bit sad. After all, the Lizardmen are the oldest of all, have been here for a long time. I doubt they only have 1 Dread Saurian for every 100 square miles. This is probably getting cheers in the comments already. Oh, you need my bad. You can get more than 1 Dread Saurian now. Like that's just, people are gonna make, like can make stacks. That's crazy for a DLC you paid for. And now we're gonna go to Wallbreaker. I think this is big because we already know the changes that are coming in the future with all that. Yes, we know it's a bit late given the dinosaurs are some of the oldest beings of all beasts, quotation marks. Now the all Wallbreaker, all monsters including Cruxigors, Wallbreaker for the biggest and baddest dinos in the town felt right. That's cool. Now they can break walls. We already know they're like, okay, we're gonna be getting rid of ass ladders. Every faction now needs a bit of a way to break down walls. Again, making the game so much more interesting. Now we're on to skills. Almost every unique skill for Lizardmen has been closely looked at, with some gaining replacement, new effect, some key takeaways as always. Heroes now have minor blessings available to them, smaller versions of Lord blessings. Lord Mazamundi now starts Soul Quench in the campaign. Good change. A change which also requested by Lore Master of Sotek. I love when they mention people who like just try to make the game better. Sick that they're like, hey, they also requested this a bunch and they're the loudest voice about this. Thank you, CA, for listening to creators. I really appreciate it. something that makes him more formidable of a starting character. All heroes gained an additional skills and their capabilities, and their rank are now brought in line with the races we have done with full reworks and DLCs for. Let's go. Again, I love having skill points. I love investing in, like, you know, to me, the blue line for heroes I don't use them as agents. They're all just fun units for me. And this is something, faction tinting. This is something that I have noticed they've been working on for quite a while now. Like every few updates, they've actually, and it's always the Lizardmen as the big example of the kind of like, they kind of fumbled the bag with the colors. I am colorblind, so I won't be able to like tell you exactly how big of a change it was. Let's say there's actually pictures, so let's read it. You'll get to see for yourself. Most units in the game are affected by faction colors. Lizardmen are no exception, but a lot of the non-feral dinosaurs didn't have a tint. That change in 6.3. We've also increased the amount of tinting on Saurus Warriors, so they should give off a different feel whichever faction you fight as or against. This is something we've seen so much feedback over the past few years. We hope you enjoy the results. So this is this is pre. So you can kind of tell that it's a lot more blurry. They're kind of just on like the head area, and like the spine is like red. But this is the new one, and it kind of seems like the head still kind of stays the same, but like the whole arm and back is actually covered. And you can even tell in the background, you can definitely see the red. The red looks really nice, because I don't know about you guys, but they were mainly blue from what I remember. Yeah, like they look like this. This is, you see, yeah, this is pre, and this is after. So like they didn't really change the base skin very much. They kind of just like gave them war paint, which is very exciting. The armies will look a lot nicer. And here are the free units. I'm going to say quotation marks, free units. Because they're blessed units. But this is also big. This is a lot of people play Lizardmen. I didn't think Lizardmen was that popular of a faction until I got into the game. And I would say a good majority of players just play Lizardmen. They love the Lizardmen, flaws and all. So they're probably, this is getting a lot of people hyped. I don't know. I'm on the side of, I think it's awesome, but at the same time I wish they were just like, you know, why didn't the Tomb Kings get some like free units, you know? But that's just me. Maybe we'll get them next update. It can't be a negative Nancy all the time. So the free units in patch 6.3 will be a number of new blessed units for Lizardmen. So we have the blessed Chameleon Stalkers, blessed Skink Cohort with Javelins, blessed Ripperdactyl Riders, blessed Sacred Cutzagors, blessed Pterodon Riders, blessed Razor Dawn Hunting Packs, blessed Salamander Hunting Pack, blessed Ancient Salamander, and blessed Ancient Stegodon. And here's the entire roster. Now you can see them. This looks great because before, I think this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 9 more, nearly 10. That's a big amount for something like this. So yeah, it's not like, you know, they didn't even give them new weapons or nothing, but I think 9 blessed units is pretty good. Like the, I think this was funny, the Sacred Cutzagors. You would think the Sacred Cutzagors would be blessed after all these years, but they're not. It was only the base ones. So this is really exciting. I'm very hyped for this. And with the additional blessed units being put in the game, we took the opportunity to take and look at the spawning system. The button is now always available, but recruiting the blessed units will require the use of spawning sequence, which can now be earned via missions. The commandments and performing rites, rituals like sacrifice to Sotek and Nakai's temple rituals added 1 to your pool. In addition, given resource, so you don't necessarily need to recruit the unit you don't have that you have added in your pool. So this is, I mean, that's cool. That's a nice little like new mechanic, I would say, that you just be able to freely recruit them instead of just like missions and hoping you get them. Here's a big one too, trait rebalance. The basic trait system characters has been largely untouched since IE, and some even prior to that, with plenty of changes in Warhammer 3, new abilities and effects, and new levels that the characters need to operate at. This rebalance is aimed at Warhammer 3ifying, starting traits for knowledge new characters, and Albrick. I think the last DLC kind of showed that like they're looking, because look at Albrick, he was all in the trailers. He had like the shield dropped on him or something. So I'm glad that they're like, you know what, let's fix the core problems of this great game, and then we do more DLC. But yeah, enough ranting. Let's actually look at this. So before, determined was this immune to psychology, leadership +3, but now it's a character experience gain +30, attributes still immune to psychology, hit points +10, and leadership +15. That is an amazing trait, because you would like, determined is like okay in the beginning, but like immune to psychology is really easy to get. Like you can just get an item that changes it, or you can get a trait. And it's really not that hard to get. But this makes it a bit more, because on top of that, now you get experience, now you get more points, now you get more leadership. So that's big. Fleet-footed, I always thought was pretty decent because, you know, speed, strider. But now they give you Wayfarer, which I think it just you see, I don't even know what it does. Either way, Wayfarer on top of Stride is good. See, I know what Stride does, and it just tells me right there. But it just shows you there's so many abilities in this game, you just forget them all. Virtue of Discipline. So again, I don't play Bretonnia very much, so I didn't know very much about this one before. So Chivalry +4, melee defense for Peasant Mob +5, and all their kind of like melee units. Yeah, melee defense for Knights of the Realm is at 10. See, like I thought this was pretty decent, but then the new one, all that stays the same. Besides, it gets attribute Glorious Charge for Knights of the Realm, which is nice. I love seeing Glorious Charge on more things because it just like I get flavor to the pie, you know. Intelligent, Chivalry +2, Hero Self-Defense against Wounding is 5%, Ambush Defense chance is 10. Like, that's okay. But now it's Intelligent, it gets spell intensity if Spellcaster, gains 50% experience, and the Hero Self-Defense and Ambush stays the same. But that's pretty good. To get those 2 extra little ones, that might make you pick it over a few other things. Confident, I think it was pretty bad. It was only Leadership +10 and +2 for all units in Army. That is not great in my opinion. But now you get passive ability Rabble Rouse. I don't even know what that is. You see it again. I don't know every single little ability. We have attribute Immune to Psychology, and then Leadership +10, Leadership +2. So that kind of stays the same leadership, but then you get these 2 on top of it. Very excited to see that. Then we have Cast Familiar, cooldown 5% to all spells. That's okay. It's not the worst. But then you get cooldown -10 to all spells, and miscast chance -15 for all spells. So that's pretty good. Again, it'll make you maybe choose over another trait. Keymaster, bearer replenishment rate +10. See, I think that's a good one if you're playing Zinch. But on top of you getting like a good little trait, your 10%, now you get a bound spell, Infernal Gateway. So now your Lord, who's not a spellcaster, now has a spell. I think it's pretty good. I like these a lot. I wish they showed us more, but I assume there's probably, like, just like with the items, there's just so many changes that like you'll barely be able to make a list. But yeah, now we're under the Greenskin update. With 6.3, got the chance to go back to the Greenskin characters we didn't update in the Omens of Destruction, so we took to it. We'll leave the individual effects up to imagination, but the additions as a whole are shown below. So Night Goblin War Boss, here's all their new ones right here. Yeah, Manstabber, Grin Looney, Cunning Movement, Shrooms Good Eating, You're All Dying First, Skulkin Expert, Top Ones, 20 Gets. I think they had Skulkin Expert before, but I'm unsure. Goblin Big Boss, Gap Sticka, Glory Steel, First Rule of Stabba. That sounds pretty cool. The Barkin Pack, the Goblin Thinking, the Ramming Speed, Black Orc Big Boss, the Boss of the Field, Hero Killing Blow, One Orc Army, Ardor the Ard, Runta Chapa, Get Smasha, and my favorite, Giant River Troll Hag, Foul Diet, Fetid Regeneration, Horrible Smell, Bone Snapper, and Miasma. That's all for me. Over to my unusual locations and other additions. This is big. Like I kind of ranted before. I really do like putting in points into things, because in Warhammer 2 we only had 30 points, but then Warhammer 3 came around. They gave us 20 more to 50. To me, that's a big. That's over half of what we had before. So you have all these points now. And a lot of these old characters, once you fill out all the combat ones, it's just blue line, but you're never using their blue line. But maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just singled out because I do that. But yeah, I think we just have. Yeah, we got like 2 more things to cover. Again, they said they're revealing the full on Friday, so either they're just showing us a lot right now because they feel like it, because they haven't told us too much what they're doing next, or there's gonna be like a lot of stuff coming Friday. Either way, I think we're winning. Now we're on unusual locations. One of the last times I spoke to you in a dev blog, it would be near patch 5.2 when I first added the very first patch of unusual locations. My bad, chat. Introducing a strange feature like that, let alone a patch, was a bit of a departure for us, but I'm happy to say the feature was a smash hit, and I know that all because you've been asking for more ever since, which is great. I love the unusual locations. It made me think of Stellaris. I like Stellaris because of the overall campaign. Like, the battles are boring, but the campaign is really fun, and I feel like that's what really Warhammer was missing, is the campaign was a bit and the battles were fun. But the more we make the campaign fun, it makes everything more fun. So first time around, I went with a nice round number of 20 locations. That seemed like a decent amount to add, and add some solid variety for each batch. So for 6.3, you can again expect another 20 usual locations to be added, bringing us a total up to 40. Fun fact, he said each patch. So if they want to keep doing this, that means we're going to have 60 next time. And then after that, it would be 80. I think about it, I don't think they're gonna, like, to me that just seems like a lot. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, I don't know. I hope they do. I feel like it'd be cool, but then you might be missing out on other ones. But that's a whole nother conversation. Let's continue this. If you're reading this and you have no idea what the unusual location feature is, then head over to the old blog post. You guys should know what they are. Basically, you know, when you'll get a little pop-up, it'll say unusual, it will say like unusual location, have like a cool little animation of like a map. And then like, it will be just like with the Skaven, like when they have like a little hideout in your base, you just click on that little button and it will show a building and you get to read what it does. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of cool, and there's like events you can do. So like there's a whole bunch. It's worth noting that one of the reasons we keep adding these locations is because the first patch was very old world focused and always focused more on the forces of order. Meaning factions outside the old world and races like Chaos, Skaven, etc. were very limited, if not entirely, in locations they could experience. So with that in mind, we've updated the first 20 locations to be a bit more liberal in their restrictions, or lore appropriate, of course. So now you have a lot more races that can experience them. And this latest patch, the locations is much more focused on being applicable to all races. There are a few exceptions, and of course it's extremely important for us to maintain sync with the lore, but generally that's the approach we're look to take going forward. So that's pretty good. Like I said, pretty exciting stuff with how like they're kind of changing it, because when you played Chaos, you'd get like 2, but when you play in Order, you get like 10 different ones. Lastly, I know some of you have been asked to reveal the unusual location devblogger patch notes when we add them, but however, I'm a big believer that this content should be experienced firsthand, and indeed I designed it with the intention that you're not completely sure of the specifics of these places when they do appear, or at least for the first time ever. I'll meet you halfway and we'll share the list of them, but spoiler free of any details. Let's face it, 5 minutes after this patch is out, there'll be screenshots of everything on the internet looking at you Reddit. Like I said, I scanned the forums and Reddit, and that is 100% true, and it's gonna happen. I'm gonna read them all. I like to know things, so I'm one of those people that would do that. Without further ado, here's a list of 20 locations. Move on to the next section if you don't want to spoil anything. Yeah, same here. I'm gonna read these out loud for the people who don't want to read anything, so just skip 20 seconds, because there's literally 20 to read off. Okay, I'm gonna read them out. Carnival of Chaos is number 1. 2 is Warpstone Meteor Impact. Then we have Dwarf Construction Company. 4 is Abandoned Forge of Hashut. Ogre Mercenary Camp. We have an Unearthed Tomb. Primordial Spawning Pools. The Covenant of the Crimson Plague. Sartozan Vault. Cathayan Merchants. Peg Street Pawnbroker. I would love to know what that one is. Purple Hand of the Cult. Underworld Sea Entrance. Faulty Doomsphere. A Dark Gift. An Unstable Chaos Portal. A Cult of the Crimson Skull. A Cult of Pleasure. The Cabal. And the Elven Enclave. I'm hyped for that. That makes me think that like we're gonna get like a trade system with the elves, like a shipping, like with boats and whatnot, like a little trade area. Because like elves are supposed to be like a good navy, they're supposed to be like sailing the high seas, making deals. So I think this might be part of it. Hopefully, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. You never know. This I did not expect to be a thing, but yeah, you guys are gonna like this. There's camera blood spatter now. A bit of an unexpected addition, perhaps. We've decided to bring it over to Total Warhammer 3, the camera blood spatter feature from Total War Pharaoh. Again, the CA Sophia, they did make Total War Pharaoh, and people did like what they changed it after it released. So you gotta understand that these guys probably really liked the camera. I'd never played Pharaoh, so when I read this, I was like, what? Maybe I'll really like it, but I don't know. You guys are gonna have to let me know down below if it's a good thing in Pharaoh. Now, first thing to mention is that it isn't your jam, then fear not, as of course it comes with the ability to turn it on or off with the graphic settings. But if you do fancy a bit more blood and mayhem, we've got you covered in blood. But do note this feature will start disabled, so you'll have to head over to the graphic settings and turn it on once the patch releases. If you're not familiar with this feature from Total Warfare, then you can generally expect to see with the feature turned on, our blood spatter hitting your screen, which if you're sufficiently zoomed in close enough to the battle, they'll fade after a few seconds, so not to block your view, and they won't even cover the center of your screen, just the periphery. So this is an image of it. Kind of weird because it's like in a portrait mode or something. But I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know. This is, I think, a weird addition, but I'm glad it's not like you're forced to have it on. I'm glad you can just turn it off and be like, you know what? I don't want blood on my screen. I kind of want to watch the battle. And we already have a blood DLC, so maybe this is for people who, don't have the DLC and want it to be bloody. That would make sense. Now, this is the thing I was suspecting that they were going to release for the DLC, the audio. Because THROG is in here. So that means we're getting his voice updates, and they're going to be updating the quest battle before the DLC comes out. So I think that is 100% confirmation this was supposed to come out with the DLC. And this was brought up in the DLC talks. Yeah, so we're close to the end. There's only 2 more. So now we're on audio. Like I said, hi there from the CA audio team. We've been keeping an ear out for your feedback and hard work with our partners over at Games Workshop to spruce up and expand, record new voiceover work for WULFWRICK, THROG, and WULFWRICK, the bored French guy. I was shocked to see WULFWRICK, because to me, I thought WULFWRICK was fine. I know a lot of people had a few issues with him, but I like that they're going all the way. If they're like, if we're gonna change THROG, we should fix WULFWRICK. And I didn't know this because I'm not a Bretonnia player. Excuse me. That WULFWRICK was just a generic character. Like I know his like model was generic, and people laughed at him for that, and he didn't like have his spear for a long time. But then they fixed all that. But I didn't know that it was that basic. So yeah, the better aligns with those changes with characters and their lore, and give them some extra flavor when they're in need of. My bad. In the Norskin corner, WULFWRICK's VO set to expand to match the VO sets for Warhammer 3 Legendary Lords. It's still the tough and rugged performance as before from Edward. Again, cool last name. I'm just gonna say nothing. But with us, more lines, more Norskin charm. THROG now has a shiny new voice, which is more in line with the lore and feedback from the forums. This goes with a whole new script to match Warhammer 3's legendary original quest battles re-recorded with the new script and new performance style. Super hype. I think it's cool. I guess this is the original voice actor for WULFWRICK. So THROG and WULFWRICK seem to be the only ones who are getting like a new VO, who's like a new person. Heading south, WULFWRICK lead generic is no more. We have finally voiced WULFWRICK the French guy as legendary lord and given him his own full set of bespoken VO lines to replace the gap made by the actor WULFWRICK for welcoming back. So they're bringing some. You see, I don't even know these names. Welcoming back Christophe Hasbin, the actor from the original Total War Bretonnia cinematic trailer. We've also recorded a new Bretonnia lore to ensure that there's no content loss and no extra really gained. Oh, so when they revealed Bretonnia, he literally must have been like either the voiceover or like literally one of the characters, and they're like, huh, why don't we like use him for the game? We hope you enjoy. We hope you enjoy that we've managed to squeeze this into patch 6.3 and look forward to your feedback as it comes through. Again, this gets me extremely hyped because this gives them more time to work on the DLC and add extra things. They always add extra things because they know a lot of people aren't gonna buy the DLC, and they want them coming back anyway to look at the older DLC. Maybe there's something they didn't buy, but now a faction got updated. So I think I'm excited for what's to come next. I think we got a bright future. I think it's going well for the game. And 9s. This is the last of it, guys. Then you don't have to hear me rant so much. So yeah, we have CA account and Total War access linking requirement for FLC. We are also changing and streamlining how FLC and Warhammer 3 until this point from required you to either signed up for a CA account or Total War access. With the release of 6.3, we are removing the requirement of players who have neither these accounts can get it. So number 1, Echo Hellbrass, he's the Zinch hero who can heal. Oedipus is the legendary lord for Nurgle that came out a long time ago. Harold Hammerstorm, he's just like a chaos hero, one of the first like Warhammer characters like ever, I believe. Karanak, he's the 3-headed dog for Khorne. Some chaos can also use him. And Ulrika is I think one of the best free heroes to ever release in any Total Warhammer game. She's a vampire that's a hybrid unit, and she's all the forces of order can use her, I think, besides Cathay or the elves. But she's really good, and she can give dwarves a magic caster. Clarification, of free content from older Warhammer titles will require you to own at least one piece of paid content related to the free content. Man, they said free content twice in one sentence. In any game in the trilogy, etc., you'll need to own Rise of Tomb Kings to get the Bone Giant FLC, or Total War Warhammer 2, the Queen and the Crone of the Shadows, and the Blade to get Rekarth. So what they're saying is you're going to need some DLC to get access to it, and that's understandable. I didn't know that Rekarth was tied to DLC. That just shows you when I got the game, I just got all the DLC because I hate playing games without like what I want in them. Because I already knew I liked this game. But besides that, let's finish this up. Let me finish. Thanks for reading, and from all of us who are working on the game's continued updates, we hope you enjoy patch 6.3 when it comes to release, and we look forward to seeing you again in the future dev blogs. Thank you, CA. This is a lot more than I expected. I would love to know what you guys all know, want to say down below, or what your opinions are. Is there anything in this that you did not agree with, or things you would really like to see, or something you were really excited to hear? My favorite is all the skills. I'm hyped. This gives me a reason to play the greenskins now, because you'd use a lot of the Warhammer 1 characters, and they just felt not even up to par to Warhammer 2 characters, you know? I think these new starting traits is big because we kind of figured there was going to be a power difference once the items got changed. Everything else is going to be raised up, because if you raise the floor, you raise the ceiling kind of deal. The blessed units, I'm super hyped about. I'm glad these guys are coming to the game. 9 I think is crazy. If it was 2, then I would definitely be complaining. I'm colorblind, so I don't notice a big difference, but I can notice a difference though. I'm not saying that I don't see it, but the colors, that's pretty big. So for everybody who kind of just wanted to have more customized armies, that's pretty cool. Getting wall break for the dinos. Basically, the tech tree getting fixed. I've been begging for it to be fixed. Excuse me. But very excited. The economy's getting changed. Again, Tomb Kings, they're getting a bunch of changes. I'm kind of sad we didn't get any free units for them, so that'd be my one complaint of the day. Again, this is cool. I didn't even know they couldn't do this, confederate like that. They could probably confederate in democracy, or diplomacy, I mean. I think that's everything we've covered. Yeah, they've changed the tech tree. The Book of Nagash has moved. That's big. This is gonna feel less of a side quest. I still feel like it might feel like a side quest still, but we won't know till it's in game. This is an amazing update. I think this is one of the top 10s. I would say, because it's not even a deal. It's not even a 0.0 update. The 0.0 updates is when mainly we get a lot of big things, not including the DLC. But I think this is pretty big. Stuff that hasn't been touched in literal years is being touched up kind of out of nowhere. The 20 more unusual locations, again, he said everyone's been asking for it, which is great. Again, we've all been asking for it. Very, very excited. Love to see these. The camera blood spatter, I think, is a shock, because it's kind of this is probably the most random thing in all of this. It definitely, like I said, definitely feels like they're squeezing as much as they can into this. So they're like, okay, 6.3 is done. Now maybe 6.4 is something. I would assume it'd be the 6.4 would be the last, and then 7.0 would be next. But they haven't gave us a timetable. But until I know information, I will give you guys the information. The audio is changing again. We're getting 3 WULFWRICK, THROG, and WULFWRICK, and I don't know where it says it, but the generic lord is I know they say it somewhere down here, but the generic lord will also be changing. So that's very exciting. And a lot of people who are just missing these 5 characters, who are just you're not getting my email, CA. I understand that. People like that who just don't want to share their account info. Now they're gonna get free stuff. Sadly, older stuff is all tied together in a nice little bow. But yeah, very, very big changes. I am very excited. We'll know more on Friday, so stay tuned for 3 days from now. I appreciate you guys watching the video. This was a little longer than I would have liked, but that's every Dev Note video I ever do. I am back now. I know it's been a minute. I've been working on a lot of things. So thank you guys for staying tuned to the channel. I really appreciate all the thanks, the subscribes, all the likes, basically everything you guys do. We are going to be streaming every day. I would like to do a basically new legendary lord until the DLC comes out. And you might be asking, well, what if the DLC comes out after you run out of characters? That's not going to happen because there's 100 of them. and that's 3 months. So that's a little over 3 months. If they make me do streams for over 3 months, that I'll lose my mind. They better give me the DLC for free at that point. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I'll have a bunch of more updates on the channel coming soon. Look out, we're gonna be streaming one more stream on the channel to finish off, and then we're going to Twitch, and then we're gonna do both. But that's a whole another video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the future.